Hello and welcome. Amir here with another React challenge that could really give you an edge on your interviews and on your day-to-day work. Today we are going to detect when a component is visible on the screen. So now look at this example here. We have a big div here that is like 150 VH, and as I scroll down, this will be visible. Now I want this to change in color or something when it begins to be visible. So I need to detect when this component is visible. So like this. So for example, I want to say if background is something red, otherwise green, and say I am not visible or I am visible. If you want to try this, please pause the video now and do so. Otherwise, let's get into the code. So first let me define some variable here to show you what I mean. Let's say is visible. This can be true or false. Let's say this is false. And then here in the background, I can say if it's visible, then green, otherwise red. Now it is false. If I say true, it will be green. And to make it more apparent, I can go and say if this is visible, then say I am visible, otherwise say I am not. Like so. Now this is visible, and if I go and say false, this will be invisible. Okay. So let's go and write the hook and replace this one with the hook. So use component visible. The first thing we need is a state to keep the state of visibility of the component. So first let's say is visible, and then set is visible to a state. Let's say use state, and let's say it's false in the beginning. Now there's no need to provide a type here because TypeScript will infer it to be a boolean because we defined the false here. Now we need to have access to this DOM element, so I need to define a ref here. So ref is use ref, and let's say we are looking for HTML div element. This can be any element, but let's go with the div for now, like so. Okay, now the thing I need to do is watch the scroll, and as the scroll happens, I will check to see if this div is visible or not. So we need to have a use effect to watch for the scroll. So let's say window.add event listener for the scroll, and then let's say handle scroll function that we will write. And we of course need to call this function when the component mounts. So if in the beginning the component is visible, we set the visibility accordingly, and then we can return the cleanup function to remove this listener. So window dot remove event listener, scroll, and handle scroll. Now here there might be cases that we want to resize, and on the resize the component is visible. So for example, suppose it's a flex box and things move around when they are resized. So just like this, we can have something for resize as well. and we need to clean that up here as well. So remove event listener, resize, and this should be dependent on nothing. So we are done with our effect. We only need to write this handle scroll. So let's go here. Here is where all the logic happens. First, we need to check if that element is existing. So if ref.current, like so. Now the thing that we need to do here is get the bounding rectangle of this element on screen and check it against the top, left, and bottom of the screen to see if it's visible or not. In order to do that, there is a function called getBoundingClientRectangle. So the ref.current dot get bounding client rectangle. If the top of this element is greater than 0, so if it's like here, this can be visible. And if the left of it is also greater than 0, so this is in this area, it can be further down below outside of the window, but is still in this area. And I need to check if the bottom of it is in the viewport window. So let's go and write all of this. So let's say if the rect that we get dot top is greater than or equal to 0, and the rect that left is also greater than or equal to 0, and the bottom. Now the bottom should be less than the height of the screen. So let me go and say, for example, less than 100. Then here I would just say like something so that the error goes away, so that I can describe better here. So the bottom of this, if this is less than the inner height, then we are in the window. So I can go and say window dot inner height, but I need to add something to it, and that is the rect dot height. If the bottom is greater than this value plus this, then it's not visible. So for example, it's like here. And there is one thing else, and that is for the right. Kind of similar to what we have here. So rect dot right is less than window dot inner width, and we don't need the height anymore. So only the width suffice here. So if this happens, let me add the equality here as well. So if all of these are true, we can say that we will set the is visible to true, otherwise we will set it to false. But let's make it more readable. So let's say is in view is big comparison, and then we would set the is visible to this variable, like so. And in the end, as always, we return the is visible state and also the ref, because we need to reference the element here. So we are done with this useComponentVisible. Now the only thing is that I don't need to use isVisible from here. I would grab it from the hook that I wrote. So is visible and the ref. I'm getting these two from the use component visible with no input. Now the ref would go here and the is visible is the same. So now let's go and see if it works. Scroll down and yeah, you can see that in a split of second it was red and it became green. So if I go fast, you can see that in a split of second it's red and then goes green. So in order to remove that and say let's, like for example in 20 pixels I want to still see that red, this would be like this. Now if I go here for the first 20 pixels it will be invisible and then it will become visible. And we can play with this, let's say for example 50 or whatever value you like. Great. So yeah, this was it for our custom hook for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If that's the case, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help me provide more contents like this. And if you really feel like it, you can always support the channel even more with donating, and the links to the donations are available in the description part of this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.